All right, let's do some printing. So because this is just a demo, I have not gone through the same process that I have my students go through, but they have to choose two complementary colors. And so I'm leaning towards, because I really want to use this yellow ochre, I'm leaning towards yellow orange and blue violet. So yay, let's get started. All right, so the yellow ochre is straight from the tube or tub. And even though it looks like it is no good, it's kind of like peanut butter. You just have to give it a really good stir. Now, if it's really, really runny and it needs to be thickened up a little bit, you'll just add cornstarch to it, and the cornstarch thickens it up. So you can add the cornstarch directly to the plexiglass and mix it with a palette knife, or you can add the cornstarch to this little tub. All right, so they put on just a little bit. I'm sitting, but the students are normally standing. And they love printmaking, most of them do. And they know that they need to get to that Velcro sound. I think I've got too much ink on here. So I'm gonna scoot some off to the side. Let's see. Yeah, there's that Velcro. Okay, we want the Velcro sound. And then, oh, you know what I forgot? So I'm gonna grab a paper towel, but the bar side, if you have them with the bar side goes down on the paper, kind of like that. Okay, in my opinion, one of the keys to this project is having them troubleshoot how they can stay as tidy as possible throughout the lesson. So one thing we came up with last year was putting a piece of paper towel underneath the block. And that way, if we didn't have control of our brayer and we went off the side, the paper towel would catch it. And then whoever is using our spot after us doesn't have to worry about our ink being there. Okay, but they are graded in the rubric. They're graded on whether or not they're practicing lifting the brayer as they get close to the edge. Yes, I grade them on all the things that they do have control over, even tidiness. Okay, so we've covered our block to the edge. Gonna put my brayer down, metal side, like so. All right, now let's go to the registration table. Okay, so this is the registration. We have done registrations two ways. I'll grab the other one. I know where it is. Okay, so one way of doing the registration is to cut out the shape of the block. So this ended up being the most consistent and accurate approach. Was just, I did all these, I had them measure, and then I had them write top at the top, and they had to put their names at the bottom, and if they were sharing it with somebody, then everybody's name went on it. So there's a couple that have several girl names on there, and then they use the exact same registration every time. Now in the past, we did this. I cut these out on the cutter, and then I gave them hot glue guns, and they taped this extra higher piece, and then their block would fit snugly in there each time. The only problem is it would move, and so it wasn't consistent. This ended up being a lot more reliable. So let me go grab my block. Okay, so traveling over from the cutting table over there, excuse the very messy art room. So this is where I'm inking, and then I come over to a completely clean area for the printing. And all the while, I want to make sure that my fingertips are clear of ink. And so I'm carefully setting my block inside the opening of the registration board. Then whether I have ink on my fingers or not, I'm just cleaning my fingertips before I even touch my paper. Then you can have them, I usually have them tie their apron around to the front because some of the aprons don't have pockets. If the apron has a pocket, they put their wet wipe in there, but otherwise I just have them put it there. They don't need to throw it away every time they use it unless it's filthy. All right, from there, they're going to get their paper. They want to make sure that it doesn't have any existing ink on it from someone else. And they're going to have a constant. Okay, now the constant just means that they're going to line up the paper in the exact same place every single time throughout this entire process. So if they line up the paper with the top edge of the registration, then every time they're printing, they'll do the top edge. They're not gonna switch to the sides, the long side. I personally like just using the long side. I find it a lot easier than the top edge. Some of them do it like this. They go this way and they line it up on that top edge and they let it fall. I prefer first holding it at a diagonal so it doesn't touch the inked block, lining it up with the corners of the registration like I'm doing right now. And then once I have it all lined up, I check and I slowly lay it down. And I give it a press first with my hand. And then I'll check it. I'm still holding it over on this side. I'll check it for blizzards. Okay, there's a little bit of blizzard going on. I also took a phone call in between. So that could be it, or I did not apply enough ink the first time. Okay, so they can use the spoon. This is not how we use the spoon. We don't tap our friends' bottoms with a spoon. We don't hit the block in the paper with a spoon. We're really just trying to give it a consistent coverage pressure. This is also possible. This is the Baron. With the Baron, you don't need to be white knuckled. Some of them are like super white knuckled. Just try to tell them to make sure the pressure is coming from above. They're not pushing from the side because then they might accidentally move their paper on top of the ink. And then they just really want to make sure they're getting all the edges. Okay, notice I'm still holding it. I'm checking. Okay. It's still a little blizzardy, but I really think it's kind of nice. So that's our first layer. That's our tint layer. Okay, since this was the very, very first one, this is our R.A.P. Okay, this is where they'll grab a pencil. They're going to write A.P. if it's their A.P. and they want it to line up. You really want it to line up with the edge of the print. So A.P. I'm not going to put a title yet, but then I'm going to put my name, K.A. Ralt. And I'm going to put 2025. And again, we just want to make sure that we're staying within like that margin created by, or inside, not on the margin, but kind of inside. All right, then we hang it up and we do another one. So I think I have enough paper to just do 4. We're out of everything because it's summer break. So I'm gonna do this 4 more times and then I'm gonna show y'all how to clean your block.